everyone, so this is the video that I'll be making for the questions that I get often and the questions that you have left me in the comments in my surrogacy journey group. If you guys aren't in that group already, just find me on Facebook, Sarah Rivera, and my link to my surrogacy journey page is in my Facebook right away when you see it. So just join if you want to keep updated with everything. I'm always constantly posting something every day to keep you guys updated, and doctor's appointments or whatever's going on with the pregnancy. I'm always constantly updating the page. So if you want to do that, if you want to follow my blog, then go ahead and add yourself on there. Add anybody else that you might think that might be interested in that group, and let's get this going. So I have a list of questions here that you ladies have commented on my page, and I'm going to add some stuff to it, and I'm going to kind of like break it down depending on the question it is. For the first question that I do get often is, how do I explain this process to my children? How do I explain that this child that I'm carrying in my womb is not their sibling or not going to stay at the house? Because my son, he has seen me pregnant before with his sister. So he knows that, the baby grows in your belly, you give birth at the hospital, you bring the baby home, and you have a brother or sister. In this case, since I am a surrogate mother and this is not my biological child, I am just a gestational carrier, what I did was I was really just honest with my kids. I told them and I sat down with them and I explained how mommy is going to be pregnant. It's not going to be your brother or your sister. The baby's not going to stay with us. Mommy's just helping a family that needs help because they can't have a baby on their own. So I'm going to be the one helping. And so, I was just very honest with my children. They're pretty smart, My son is only 4 years old, but he's a very smart kid. And he got that and he grasped it very quick. And now he goes around telling people, oh, that's not my sister or my brother. Mommy's helping a family. So as long as you keep repeating that and letting them know, this baby's not going to stay with us. This is just mommy helping a family. And someone else is the parents. Or is someone else's child. They'll get that right away. My daughter, she's 2 years old and she doesn't even care. At the moment, she doesn't really pay attention to my belly or anything just yet. But I am getting pretty big, as you can see right here. 22 weeks. I wear a lot of loose clothes and stuff like that, so not to hide it, but who wants to wear tight clothes while pregnant? Either way, I would just be honest with your children. There's nothing wrong with just telling the truth. Just tell them that you're a surrogate mother, you're helping a family with infertility. Even though if they're small, like 1 or 2, I don't think you have to worry that much. If they're older, like 13, 14, I'm pretty sure they will understand very quickly what you're doing. And just always make sure that you're letting them know. Just don't tell them just one time and think that they're gonna get it, because they're not. Just keep repeating it, keep telling them how the process works, and eventually they'll understand. They'll know that this baby is not gonna stay at home and this baby is gonna be a gift for another family. Okay, so question number 2 would be, how did your family react when you told them you were going to be a surrogate mother? Okay, so being a surrogate mother is not the ideal. People just don't come up out of nowhere saying, hey, I'm going to be a surrogate mother. So in this instant, especially me being Hispanic, and it doesn't even matter if I'm Hispanic or not, but just Hispanic families in general are more overprotective of their children, especially their daughters. So when I had told my parents, it was very like, are you crazy? You're gonna get pregnant and You don't know what can happen. Anything can happen during a pregnancy. This is risking your body. This is risking your life. Which it is, you know. Every single pregnancy is a risk because we don't know how this pregnancy is going to go. We don't know how any pregnancy is going to go, whether it's my biological child or not. Pregnancy is not something that you take lightly. Pregnancy is something that you really have to make a choice and commit to it, because once you're pregnant, there's no turning back. And you have to go through this whole pregnancy and whole process until the baby's born. So they were very worried. You know, having overprotective family can sometimes discourage you. But at the end of the day, I know they meant well. But this is a choice that I wanted to do and that I made. Whether I didn't get the support in the beginning, I am now getting the support as I am growing this child in my belly. So eventually they'll get over it, you know. They just have a lot of questions and how it works and all these other things that I will be explaining for the next questions. But it's okay for your family to be afraid for you. It's just a natural instinct, you know. You don't want your family member to get hurt. You don't want them to go through a dramatic experience. But you have to understand that to become a surrogate, you have to think like a surrogate. So you know that you're becoming a surrogate to help a family, to give this baby away, to give life, this gift of life. So if you really wanted to do that, whether your family supports you or not, this is something that you have to have in your heart that you really want to do. Because this is a life-changing experience, an emotional changing experience, an eye-opening experience, and this is something that they will really never understand because they won't go through it or they haven't gone through it. So when you are explaining it to your family, just be mindful that not everybody is going to agree with what you're doing, but it's okay. Because at the end of the day, this is your decision. Okay, for number 3, or question 3, someone asked me if there are specific requirements. So yes, to become a surrogate through an agency, or even independently, there's always some requirements from the doctor or the agency. So underneath that comment, someone asked about age, relationship status, number of birth. So age requirements are from ages 21 to 42. And for relationship status, you do not have to be married, you do not have to be single. It's whatever you are, you know, because some of our intended parents are single parents or single mothers, single fathers, same-sex couples, heterosexual couples. So it doesn't matter what relationship status you are in, even if you're, you know, separated. Relationship status does not affect you at all. Number of births, I believe you are not able to be a surrogate if you have more than 4 or 5 children of your own. For reasons I do not know. You know, no smoking or, you know, the simple things. But if you wanted to get more into detail in the requirements, it depends on each agency that you apply to. There's, you know, they probably added something or removed something depending on the agency. But if you are interested, just message me and we can see if you qualify. But if you do want to know if you qualify with my agency, then I'll let you know. Just inbox me. Feel free to message me and I will answer your questions. Number 4, I was asked, what happens if you get attached? I believe she's talking about getting attached to the baby. So, in my experience so far, I'm 22 weeks and I feel no attachment. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a bad person or anything like that. It just takes me a while to attach to a child, whether it's my child or not. During pregnancy, there's not much attachment going on. I'm not a very emotional person when it comes to that part. It's more when I'm raising the child that I start getting attached. When the baby is born, when I'm taking the baby home, when I'm raising the child, that's when I start the bond and the attachment. Most women start the bond and the attachment as soon as they get pregnant, and they're very emotional, attached to the baby, from the beginning. And that doesn't necessarily mean that, I have no feelings or anything. It's just people go through different emotional stages during this process. More women are more sensitive to these emotions. More women are stronger to these emotions. I'm just more of a neutral type of person where it's kind of just, I have to see the baby to get attached. I'm more of a visual person, and even though I can feel the baby inside moving, I just feel like I'm just doing my job in growing this child. And doesn't mean that I don't love the child, because I loved my children during pregnancy, and I love this baby also during this pregnancy. It's just, it's easier for me not to get attached because it's not my child. And I know that there's no need for me to get attached because this baby will be going home with their parents. So I don't find that as a really horrible thing. I think that every surrogate should think this way, and you don't want to hurt yourself during this process. So to try to make things easier and less emotional, just, always have in the back of your mind that this baby is going to go home. This is not your baby. No need to get attached. So yes, I wouldn't worry about getting attached. But if you are a person that, once you start feeling movement in your belly, you start getting attached and stuff, there are things for that. They will have psychologists talk to you, make sure check up on you, see if you're okay, mentally where you're at, things like that. So there's always something to help with any of these situations. Number 5, how does payment work? And the question was, is it during pregnancy or after birth? So most agencies will give you the compensation during the pregnancy. Each month you will get a certain amount until you give birth, and after you give birth, a month after that, you will get compensated the rest of the money that they owe you. So yeah, that's how the process works. I cannot give you a estimated number because each surrogate gets their own number depending on what they want. Most agencies give you a certain number for first-time surrogates. Second-time surrogates are usually the ones that can bargain and increase the amount, and so on and so forth. I always recommend that you just go with the price that they give you, because at the end of the day, this is something you're just doing to help someone, and this should be just a selfless act, and it's also rewarding as well. It's a win-win, but the bigger picture is to help the family. Number 6, someone asks, what is my favorite part about being a surrogate, and what is something that I don't like? Okay, well, I absolutely love everything about being a surrogate so far. I don't have anything specific that's my favorite part. I would say just being able to say I'm a surrogate mother is my favorite part of being a surrogate mother. That could be part of what my favorite part is. Something that I don't like about being a surrogate, what I don't like is, like things that people don't like during pregnancy, like you can't sleep at night, or you're throwing up, like simple things that whether it's your baby or not, you just don't like during pregnancy, and those are the things that I don't like. But there's nothing else in this journey that I do not like about the surrogacy. Number 7, what if there's something wrong with the baby and the parents do not want it? What happens after that? Can you adopt the baby? If so, would you adopt the baby? This is interesting because not too long ago, in another agency, there was a woman who had given birth to her surrogate baby, and she came out with a heart defect, unfortunately. And so the parents decided they did not want the baby for reasons, I guess, you know, they don't want to take care of a sick child. And so from what I heard, this baby was put up for adoption and was adopted within the next day or 2 days later. The baby is perfectly fine with their new family. It is unfortunate that things like this happen. I haven't seen it happen in this agency or any surrogate close to me, but there are stories out there that cases like this do happen. And in this case, if this were to happen to me and they would put the baby for adoption, just like you asked if I would adopt, I would say yes. I would adopt if this were to happen, or some tragedy like this takes place, and the baby was put for adoption. I wouldn't mind adopting the child, because 9 months in my belly and having a baby just not go to his parents was the whole point. And it would be really sad. So I wouldn't mind keeping the baby, Other surrogates might, like this one, might just want someone to adopt the baby, But if it were to happen to me, I wouldn't mind adopting the child at all. But I pray that that doesn't happen and baby comes out healthy and parents take him right away. For the last question, I was asked, can you think of a name for the baby or just the parents? Okay, well, I would assume the parents would, pick the name for the child, unless you have a relationship with the parents where they're like, we want you to name the baby, or we want you to help name the baby. But other than that, in my journey, I just want to keep that for the parents. I mean, I'm doing enough just carrying the baby. They can name their child, and I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me one bit. Okay, so those are the questions that I have gotten today. I would say if you ladies or you men or whoever's following me has any more questions, please comment below or send me a message with your questions, and as soon as I get all those questions, I would definitely answer them in another video. For now, these are the questions that I have gotten so far. I do not mind explaining any question. No question is dumb. Not everybody knows about how surrogacy works, so I'm here to help, and just like you guys are learning about it, I'm also learning about it. It's fun for me. I think it's a good thing that I'm doing this, so I can help educate people and help educate myself on this as well. So again, if you want me to make another video with other questions, let me know. Send me a message or comment, and I'll get back to you. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!